Law Enforcement Review Board, Jackie speaking.
Hi, this is Greg Perniuk.
Hi.
Hi. So, I wanted to discuss with you the letter of June 15 from Jeremy Taylor. I know it's not addressed to me, but I wanted to discuss it.
Okay.
Do you have that open? Or can you, do you want me to call you back if you want to locate it?
June 15, was that part of the application? Oh, right, okay.
Well, yeah, it's regarding the applications, that's right.
Okay.
So it's Jeremy Taylor's, yeah. If you want, I can give you a minute to look for it.
Yeah, just let me... I don't think you sent me a copy. I'm just going to put you on hold for a minute and look for it. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, I have a copy of the letter.
Okay, so that's the one from June 15, and
Right.
it's LERB appeal, yep, and it's the one about the applications. And so, so it's addressed to you, and so I wasn't sure whether I can or should respond to it, or whether there's any point in me responding to it.
Well, you were copied on it, so okay. Okay.
Right, yes, I was CC'd on it, but I wasn't, it's not addressed to me, right? So,
Right.
so I'm not sure whether I can, should, or if there's a point whatsoever in me responding to it. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, can I? Should I? Does it matter?
Well, they've addressed it to the board, right? So they're expressing what they will concede to allowing or offer no objection. So then we don't have to go to application on those items. And then they're asking for an extension.
Right. Okay. So.
Okay.
So yes. And it is. Well, just I don't know. Just to be picky, I guess it's specifically addressed to you specifically. So, but anyways. Okay. So my question is. The items that are marked chief objects to application, am I allowed to appeal those? Like, is that what you mean by going to application?
Right. So during case management, Mr. Smith had said what he wanted counsel to do is go through the materials, and anything that they do not object to, we do not have to have an application for, right? Anything that they do object to, we will have to schedule application for.
Okay, and so I guess, I mean, forgive me for asking, but I guess I just don't understand what exactly you mean by schedule an application. Like, that means, like, what exactly?
that means we'll have to schedule a hearing, and that you'll have to make submissions on how you meet the test for the board to admit the additional evidence.
Right. Okay. So it's actually a sort of mini appeal of the items.
It will be an application hearing.
Okay. And that means that basically I present my evidence or argue that these things should be admitted.
Right.
Okay. So that means it's not like a lost cause at this point.
Well, the chief objecting is that's not the end of it, right? Because Mr. Smith had just asked them for basically a yes or no answer. So that's what they've provided. Where they've said that they don't object, that's a yes, and where they say they do object, then that's a no. So that means we have to proceed with the application.
Right. Okay. Because I guess when I mean, it's just weird to me. Like the word application, I thought meant that's me giving you the information or asking to give the information. But I guess you're saying that basically the application is like discussing the application or discussing the item, I guess.
Well, the step one is for you to provide the information of what you would like the board to consider. Step two is when you would have to present your arguments as to how you can meet the criteria for that, or how that evidence meets the criteria to be admitted into the appeal.
Right. Step two being after this response from the respondents, I guess.
Right.
So basically step one is me presenting the information. Step two is them responding with this letter, and I guess obviously the extension letter items.
Right.
And then three will be me appealing or arguing why it should be admitted, I guess. Right. Because, I mean, I don't know. It's, like I say, I'm sure that I said to you before that every time I receive new information from either, like, about this case, I always think I'm not going to be surprised, but every time I'm always blown away by what I get. Like, when I read Chief objects to application on evidence that I'm providing, it's like it blows my mind. I can't even express.
Well, okay, the chief objecting to it, okay, basically they're saying that should not have formed part of the record, or it did not form part of the record, right? So it was not omitted. That's their argument.
Right.
I would guess.
Right.
So it just their objection is simply that it's going to have to go, and we're going to have to discuss the four criteria. And then if the four criteria are met, then the board can allow.
Right. And obviously, so then that.
But the chief's position will be that they object. That is their position.
Right. And so that means that, so obviously I'll be involved in the discussion to whether it should be part, right?
You'll have to give your reasons or you'll have to give your explanation as to how the four criteria are met for each.
Right.
For each item.
And that's going to be in person, or is that a document?
Yeah, it will be in person.
Right. And I mean, just that's what I thought I had already established in writing, but I guess that's not. I guess I don't know. It's just weird to me because it almost sounds like they didn't read what I wrote, and maybe they didn't care what I wrote. Maybe they were just expecting to get to the point where we have to discuss this in person. I guess we'll just see how it goes.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, I guess I kind of understand because I like to explain things, and I like to explain things. I like to be understood. So when I explain a bunch of things and I take the time to explain things very carefully, and somebody returns and says that he had difficulty deciphering my text, I take exception to that, and I find that really, I don't know if that's how he intended it to be, but I find that not exactly derogatory but contemptuous, where he's saying he's having difficulty understanding and deciphering my writing when in my opinion, I write very well and very technically, and I like to describe things and explain things. And so when I get a response of chief objects to application with nothing, it really, I don't know. Like, I really had difficulty sleeping after I read this, and, you know, like everything else that I've read, it really bugs me. But anyways, I guess what you're saying is there will be a further step to go through these items.
Right.
And and I guess the thing about that is, I guess the point I was also going to make is, if the chief is if the chief is objecting to evidence that I'm providing that I actually have, I can't imagine that when Taylor returns with his list of other submissions that it's not all going to be chief objects to application. I can't imagine that he's going to accept anything else.
They don't usually.
Right.
They don't usually. Applications are not a given. Applications, there's a very high test to be made. Most are not successful.
Right.
Okay? Because the test is so high, the criteria where the evidence, was not available at the time the chief made his decision, the evidence must be relevant to a decisive issue, the evidence must be credible, and the evidence could reasonably change the decision previously reached, right? That's the criteria.
Right.
So when they say they object, simply put, they're likely saying that they don't believe the criteria will be met.
Right. Okay.
Right.
And so, yeah, I guess what you're saying is that when he returns after 30 days with his list, most likely the chief will object to all of them.
They don't usually. Yes, they usually do object. Yeah.
And then I think it's probably safe to say that most times it's not a big list like I've provided. Right. And like, what can I don't know. I've never heard of anything like this, and obviously it's not like I'm, aware of every case that ever happens in the world, but I've never heard of a case like this, and it blows my mind. But anyways, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But I guess what I'm saying is, I almost feel like there's no point in waiting for those 30 days, because they're going to object to everything, and I'm going to have to argue everything.
Well, they need to understand what it is
that I'm asking for.
Right. They need to understand it. I don't think the board is going to have a problem extending. They haven't given an answer yet.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. I thought that the answer was assumed for the 30 days.
Nope, he's requested.
Oh, I see. Huh. Okay. I guess, yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. So no response has been given to that extension request.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that's fair. Yeah, I just, like I say, it's very, I don't know, it's very personal to me, and it's very, troubling when I get this type of response. But okay, I guess I shouldn't lose all hope, I suppose.
Right.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess that kind of clarifies that. I guess. Okay. Because so and I just have to make a couple of, or I'll make two other observations. Is that where he says, with the exception of 5 documents, all the records discussed in the applicant's submission under this heading are already included or already contained, like the 7-page one. That's just wrong. He wants to convey the idea that because some of the text is duplicated, is shown elsewhere, that the documents are there, but the documents are what they are. Each is a separate item, and a document is a defined piece of information that I already provided. So that's just an excuse to remove information. In other words, I know what he's saying about emails where there's a thread and where one email within the thread might be duplicated elsewhere, and that's what he's talking about.
Right.
But I will still argue that every single one of those documents should have been there, since I already gave them, and I will continue to argue that. And I will also point out, and I'm just saying I will mention this at whatever application hearing is scheduled, that they included all those emails about me arguing about the interview being canceled. They included every single one of those, and most of those had duplicated emails. So for him to argue that these documents are already there because parts of them are there, because the emails within the threads may exist elsewhere, is just, what I don't think I have to tell you exactly what I think about that, but that's just garbage, because they've included all those other emails redundantly regarding my argument for my interview being canceled. So it's just, this is the type of people we're dealing with, and it's amazing to me that this is the police force running the city, but this is the type of people we're talking about, where they go by their own rules, and they can destroy my evidence and include their evidence redundantly and say that my evidence is redundant. So that's, I guess I'll say that, and then I think that's about it.
Okay.
So, like I say, I'm going to bring up that point at the meeting.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm sorry if I sound like I'm unloading on you when I say that, but
that's okay.
It just blows my mind. But anyways, okay. So I guess I'll just hang tight, and I guess we'll wait for 30 days, because there's no point in me responding to this letter then, I guess. Is that true? Because
right. No. He sent it to the board. It's addressed to me, but it's to the board. He just addressed it to me.
Right, but
his assistant probably did. But right. So the board will likely send out correspondence about the extension, whether it's granted or not, and once his materials are in, then I think the next step would be that we would schedule the application.
Right, and so that's to say that there's no point in me actually responding to this, because that will be where I make that response within that application meeting or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's good. I guess that's everything then. Okay, well, thanks for your time again.
Okay, sure.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
All right.